Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and empowerment coach. And if you'd like to learn more about me and my services or to book a session, please feel free to go to my website at www.terihunter.com. That's TERIHUNTER.com. So today is Thursday, April 19th, and I woke up this morning and felt very inspired to shoot a video that I'm basically going to do a 4-card spread for each one of the astrological signs. But before I go into the spreads, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on astrologically. I am not an astrologer. I've been dabbling and learning and hope to learn more. But I wanted to bring up some things that are going on because we don't really pay much attention to the stars or to the atmosphere as we're walking through our daily routines. And yet, if we go into the ocean and we try swimming in the ocean, we're acutely aware of the tides, the waves, and the land, the dynamics that's going on in the water. And if we take that principle and apply it to our everyday lives, and even though we may not feel the immediate effects of the stars and their influences over us, they do have a subtle effect. And if we're aware of that, then we can work with those dynamics rather than trying to fight the tide. So I wanted to bring up a couple things because 2 days ago on the 17th, we had two events happen. We had Chiron move into Aries. Chiron is a planet that represents our wounds, things that have happened to us that we haven't quite healed. And depending upon where it lands in your personal chart, that's what's going to be illuminated. And in addition to that, we had Saturn, which is a planet that represents restriction, responsibility, maintaining a disciplined action towards your goals, also went retrograde. So, and that's going to be going on for the next 4 or 5 months, I think until September. We also have coming up in May, Uranus, the planet of change, of sort of the opposite energy of Saturn. It's very unexpected, out of the blue, is going to move into Taurus. So over the next few months, there's going to be sort of this dynamic of reflecting on where we have not reconciled whatever wounds we have. We're going to be asked by Saturn to take disciplined action in moving forward, not only in our goals, but in our willingness to reflect. And then Uranus is going to ask us in some ways to be very flexible as things change and shift around us. So this really sounds a lot like an interior job. So I thought if I brought up the idea that we're swimming through these dynamics, whether we're aware of it or not. And just like when we're in the ocean, if it gets really choppy and busy and kooky, then maybe it's time to float on our back for a while and rest and relax, and then allow the waters to sort of calm down before we try to swim towards our destination. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm going with that. As I said, I'm going to be learning more and more and incorporating that into my work. But primarily, I'm going to focus here today on angel messages for y'all. So here we'll start with Aries. Again, I said I'd do a 4-card spread. And I'm going to do all this in one video rather than trying to chop it up into videos for each sign. So Aries, what we're going to do is look and see. Card number 1 is Sonia. Card number 2 is Archangel Uriel. Card number 3 is Archangel Raphael. And the final card is Adriana. Now, Sonia can represent the deceased loved one coming in and saying that they're fine and doing well in heaven, or on the other side, or on this side in spirit form. But what I think it's really about is actually connecting to our guides, connecting to our angels during this time, because Archangel Uriel is really going to deal with those subtle energies of frustration, of anger, of unresolved issues that basically piss us off. And here we have Archangel Raphael really saying it's time to reconcile and balance these things. Now, it's interesting for me because Aries, Chiron has gone into Aries. It's gone into your sign. It's also my rising sign. So it's really asking us to get real. And Aries is ruled by Mars. So there is a part of us that really, when we rub up against our issues, we can get really fiery and sort of pissed off and blamey. And Archangel Raphael is asking us not to do that. He's asking us to look and see where we can just wipe our hands and say, it is what it is. Can't do anything about it now. So how do I want to move my story forward? Because Adriana is offering us movement forward, being led to our desires, our dreams, our hopes. And this is not just for the material comfort or material ease, but for interior, for peace of mind. And it's kind of our job during this time of Saturn's restriction, of Chiron asking us to reflect on our wounds, to be gentle and easy with ourselves. And when we find ourselves sort of stuck in that place where we feel like we're rustling up against things and we can't really get past them, turn them over to Spirit. Just sort of surrender to that dynamic and do your best to move to the next most logical place. So basically it's like this. If you're really pissed off about something, ask yourself, what can I do for me that would take me from pissed off to annoyed? And then sort of inch your way up the vibrational scale from there. All right, Aries, that's it for you for this week. Again, I want to remind you to be gentle with yourself during this process. Just because we have a wound and Chiron is asking us to look at it doesn't mean that it needs to tank us. Lots of times that wound may not be something that doesn't have a certain scab on it. It may be more healed than you've given yourself credit for, and that might be what Chiron is asking you to look at. All right, remember, Adriana is leading you to the answers to your prayers. Let's go on for Taurus. Taurus. So for you, we've got this Uranus moving into your sign for the next 8 years. The last time that happened was about 84 years ago. I believe that was the late 30s, early 40s. A lot going on in our country during that time. So Uranus is going to be asking you to be flexible. Uranus is a changeable, unexpected planet. And for Taurus, it's happening with Taurus represents our personal values and our finances, but more from a personal perspective and how we view that. So we really want to try to learn to be flexible in our thoughts during this time and yet steadfast in our determination. All right, Taurus, let's see what the angels have to say for you. The first card is Astera, and she is saying, reach for the stars with your desires and don't compromise, meaning having that razor focus, because in your opportunity or your obstacle, we have Francesca. And Francesca is saying, what do you visualize right now? Because negativity will block your progress. Now, I want to say this about negativity, because being positive all the time is a bunch of crap. It's just not even possible. But if when we're feeling challenged, when we're feeling like that swirl starting to happen, the acknowledgement of it versus the resistance of it. And this is not about letting your mind run amok per se. It's just more about trying to pull yourself out of the fear because usually that fear, that negativity that Francesca is bringing up is not something that's actually happening. There can be elements of things that make us feel uncomfortable, and then we start to tell ourselves a story about what that uncomfortable will look like. We can turn that story around if we go into that childlike innocence. When we're young and our parents put us in a car to go on vacation, we don't fret the whole way in the car. We get in the car and know that they're going to get us there. And this is really what I think Astera is going back to, is to reach for the stars with your desires. And if those desires are masked by confusion, by unknowing, by unsureness, then allow them to reveal something to you with your childlike innocence, because our final card is Fiona. And Fiona is basically saying, now that you've asked God and the angels, be open to receiving their guidance. Now, I want to say this. The guidance is leading you towards the answer. It may not be this big, huge, burning bush that comes in and illumination. Oh, I'm great. Everything's fine. It may come in the form of small, little steps that add up to a big answer. So I want to offer you this, Taurians. Give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. right now. I'm just, the next few days, this feels like this spread is for like the next week or so. And give yourself permission to step outside of what the experiences you're having right now and going into the experience that you're wanting to achieve on the other side of it. Rather than focusing in on what you're appearing to be the obstacle, and I say appearing because I feel like a lot of it is projection, not necessarily in the real world just yet. And then turn it over to Spirit and thank them for giving you the eyes to see something from a new perspective, or to start to lay the breadcrumbs, the hints that you are aligning to your desires more than your physical material experience would have you know at this time. Okay? All right, Taurus, that's it for you. Let's go on to Gemini. Let's see what Spirit has to say for you this week, my little Geminis. Okay, so here we go. We're going to pull card number 1. Again, that represents the foundational aspects of what's going on. The second card represents our opportunity and or our obstacle. 1 coin, 2 sides. Every opportunity has an inherent obstacle, and every obstacle has an inherent opportunity. So for you, Geminis, we have Ariel. And Ariel is saying that the lighting is bad. New psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way that you're viewing the world. And that kind of, it really is akin to the idea of you being able to be aware of your being energy. What is your belief? What is your attitude, your disposition as you're walking into a situation? And then aligning with source energy, knowing that everything that you want is already available to you. And as you open up to the idea, any abundance you seek, this is Serena. She is the angel of money. And for me, she really does represent straight up finances, resources, anything that's going to help us move our story forward in the physical world. So the money that you're looking for, the resources, the dynamics you need to feel comfortable in the physical world, to know all your bills are being paid, your roof is over your head, there's plenty of money for your food, your toothpaste, your toilet paper, whatever you need, it will all be there. And if you have any doubt about that whatsoever, Layla is actually asking you to get out into nature. She is a card of meditation, but she's also, to me, this is a mobile meditation. It's a movement meditation. It's getting out inside and giving Spirit an opportunity to use nature to give you the signs and omens that you need to feel secure or to feel comforted or supported in your movement forward, like where that money will come from. I was in Starbucks the other day, and I've had my own little weird things about money lately. I'm always kind of got, that's one of my wonderful opportunities for growth. And as I was putting some change into my wallet, I saw $6 on the ground and a man walking away, and I thought he had dropped it. So I grabbed the money and chased him down to give it to him, and he looked at me and pulled out his wallet and said, "No, all my money's here." And so there was $6, and that was more than enough to get me my Starbucks. And I thought, well, thank you so much for giving me that hint that all the money I need is on the way. Then later that day, I went down to do a load of laundry, and there was already a quarter stuck in the machine for no reason. So I just kept paying attention to these teeny weeny little breadcrumbs that were reminding me that Spirit has my back. And if I'm concerned about my financial resources, where is my alignment? Am I really sitting in more worry than I am giving myself, than I'm acknowledging? And as I see that Spirit is trying to squelch that worry, to comfort me during that opportunity for growth, for that contrast, I have Archangel Michael here telling me I'm protected, and to have the courage to believe that everything I need, no matter how steep, it is April, tax season. Everybody 2 days ago was, having to make sure that all the money that they had to pay went in. So we could all be feeling a little depleted right now. But as we stand in that place of knowing that all of our resources, and I like to use the word resources because money is not always the answer for everything. Sometimes it comes in another form. So I just want to offer that to you, Gemini, to connect with spirit. If you're feeling it all pinched in your material world, in your financial body right now, turn that over to spirit and ask them to give you eyes to see things through a new experience, meaning giving you a new experience, and then having the courage to hold out, keep your eyes open, your head up. All right, so let's go into Cancer. All right, Cancer. So let's see what Spirit has to say for you today. It's funny, the first thing I got in my head was to let you all know that you're very loved and you're very cared for. I don't know if maybe Cancer as a whole is feeling slightly sensitive right now, but I got this feeling. So let's see. Oh, you got Serena in your foundational position as well. Oh, here we go. All right. So my dears, Serena shows up again in the foundational position for my Cancer people. This is really, again, about resources, about money. It's about knowing that God and the angels are in charge of how the money will show up. You are just to assume the posture that Serena is and be in a receptive mode, because in your opportunity, your obstacle is Vanessa. And Vanessa for me is a card of faith. She's really asking me if I'm perceiving a situation, a dynamic, a person through faithful eyes or fearful eyes. Because it's funny, I started off saying that I felt like you guys needed a little love and TLC. And here's Grace and Antoinette and the angel's advice saying have compassion for yourself and for others during this time, because I really think that there is the potential that many of you Cancers, Cancer ascendants, Cancer moons are going through a shift in the way that you're thinking. I have Celeste here, and Celeste will talk about a move to a new home or a new place of employment, which may be applicable for a lot of you, but I also know that wherever I am, I think what I think, and I have a certain way of thinking. So you can move my body across the street, and I'm still going to think the way I think on this side of the street. So I think what's being offered to you is for Cancers to start to look at money and resources from a new perspective, a perspective of abundance. And if for some reason that abundance feels stuttered, it feels like it's puttering along, then look at yourself and ask, where am I standing in my belief that I am being provided for? All right, so that's our Cancers. Let's go on to Leo. All right, my Leos, what does Spirit have to say for you today? Oh, I just got this energy of asking you to be more playful, to tap into the sunshine of the sun that rules your sign. Allow yourself to be more playful. Let's see if they back that up. Oh my goodness, look at that. All right. So first we have Archangel Michael. And you know, he is the great protector. But sometimes, you know, my little Leos out there, you're represented by the lion, and they say you roar. But you know, there was the cowardly lion from the Wizard of Oz. And I think that maybe some of you may be having a little bit of conflict between feeling powerful and feeling not so powerful, and being confused by that dynamic. Because, you know, it's interesting to me is Archangel Raphael is here in your opportunity, your obstacle. And here is Rosetta. You know, Rosetta talks about having a divine life's purpose involving children. But when it's in the angel's advice category for me in that position, it's really about tapping into the inner child. I want to say this, you know, Leos are known to be outgoing and playful and fun and the life of the party. But, you know, I have this sort of feeling like maybe some of you Leos are pulling yourselves along through mud right now. And Spirit is saying, don't resist that childlike innocence, because Isaiah is here in the final position asking you to give life to new situations, new ideas, not just about yourself, but about those around you. I really feel this very strong sense of seriousness from the Leos right now. And I want to kind of shake that off a little bit and say, hey, you know, get back to that playful energy, because as you do that, things are going to move along. it feels like there's the potential that some of you may be experiencing things that you really have no control over right now. You know, I started this whole video talking about dynamics going on that we are going to have to learn how to manage the, oh my gosh, what do I want to say? Oh, what happened here? Okay, I'm pretty sure we're still recording. All right, guys, so sorry, I don't know what happened. My thing went funky. All right, so I want to say this. This is what I'm trying to say for Leo. I believe that your normal childlike innocence has gotten a little bit of a ding right now. Maybe people are telling you to grow up, get serious, you know, but I want to say the opposite. You know, maintain your childlike innocence. Allow yourself the privilege of, I don't even know if this is recording anymore, so I'm going to stop. I don't think it is. Okay, guys, had a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but I'm going to finish up with Leo. So I just want to say this. You guys, play, play, play. Let yourselves trust again in the bigger picture and let your Leo-ness shine. All right, let's go on to Virgos. All right, my Virgos. Let's see what the angels have to say for you today. Woo! Okay. All right, so we start off with Oceana in the foundational position. All right, my Virgos, Oceana is saying, you know what to do. Take loving action towards your goals, your intentions, your dynamics, whether it be whatever area of your life that you would like to see transform, you would like to see blossom, you would like to see grow, because here we have Isaiah asking you to give birth to new ideas and new situations in your life. And we have that backed up with Mystique, who says when you give life to those new ideas, expect miracles. Miracles are simply alignment with source energy, alignment with your own intentions, that actual deep belief that if you want something, you can have it. Now, I want to offer you this idea because our final card is Azure. And Azure says that your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Have patience and faith and don't try to force it to happen. So what I'm getting at here is that Oceana is saying to take loving action and Azure is saying not to force it. That to me is about setting an intention, seeing my thoughts about that intention, and really looking at the dual thought. Because every thought is two thoughts. It's the inspired idea and then the road to get there. And the road to get there oftentimes will make us feel a little kooky. It will say, oh my gosh, there's that obstacle, here's that obstacle. Looking at the obstacles, you'll never get anywhere. So this is where new ideas, perseverance, and keeping the faith. You Virgos love to know where you're going. You like to plan things out. You like to strategize. And who can blame you? You know, it's not always fun flying by the seat of your pants. But every once in a while, when you're flying by the seat of your pants, you're figuring out what you can do without realizing it. You're actually experiencing more practicality in some respects than you realize. So I want to offer you this idea of taking guided action, loving action, and then pulling up a little bit and letting yourself see where that action, what it's starting to create for you, and then move forward again. So it's sort of a move forward, sit back and assess, move forward, sit back and assess. All right, let's go on to Libra. That's my sign, my sun sign. I'm actually way more Aries rising than I am Libra. But thank God I've got a little diplomacy in me, otherwise who knows what could happen. All right, here we go, Libras. First card is Isabella. Yes, the timing is right for this new venture. Oh, and there's Serena saying the money that you need will show up. Mystique is saying, oh my goodness, gosh bless this. All right, Mystique is here again in the same position, and then we have Fiona. So let me back up a little bit. Isabella, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. A happy outcome follows your expectation. Here's Serena, the money card. Again, opportunity and obstacle. The obstacle is when we don't believe the resources, the money, everything we need will be there. But Mystique says, keep charging ahead and expect miraculous solutions. Miraculous solutions are just simply alignment to our own intentions and that deep belief of standing there, knowing we are being supported. And Fiona is backing that up, Libras. She's saying, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving their guidance. I really have to say it's exciting when you get into this rhythm of putting an intention out into the universe, having no idea whatsoever how it is going to end up happening, and then starting to see evidence that it's happening. It is the most, for me, most empowering, most dynamic thing that can happen in my life, because every time I step out to do something, I have no idea if it's going to tank, if it's going to work, if I'm going to be safe, or if I'm not. But what I do know is that as I continue to know, like there's this deep knowing inside of me, keep moving forward. And that moving forward is not based on fearful action. That's when we pull back. If you're starting to feel creepy or weird or scared, sit back and then ask them to give you a new experience to help motivate you to know that, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. The money I need, the resources, the people, the dynamics, everything will fall into place. And then diligence. You know, I talked earlier, this is kind of part 2 of the video, so I don't know how I'm going to end up editing it because I don't know how to do any of that, but we'll see. But I want to just bring up the Saturn thing, because Saturn is a restrictive planet, but restriction doesn't have to be negative. If that restriction and that, you know, Saturn requiring us to be diligent in our thoughts, in our belief in ourselves, and then opening it up to bringing that into the material world. Okay, Libras, that's it. I'm really excited about that. That whole idea, the money that you need will be there. God bless that, right? All right, Scorpio, let's go on. Let's see what Spirit has to say for you. Oh, Mystique is just making herself known today. She's just saying to everybody, keep charging ahead. All right, my Scorpios. Looks like we might be addressing your love life a little bit here. Because while Mystique is saying to keep charging ahead, expect miracles, she's also kind of saying, I kind of feel like she's asking you, those of you, you know, let me show you this. Mystique, it reminds me of Gloria Estefan, coming out of the dark and into the light. I finally see the light, it's shining down on me. If you're finding yourself in a time of darkness, confusion, maybe even your relationship, your intimate relationships are feeling a little bit of challenge, I think it's Layla's asking you again to go out into nature, to take some time to let Spirit give you signs and omens to help clear that confusion. You know, when we're in love, especially in our intimate bodies, we tend to hang a lot on that partnership. And sometimes we forget that our individuality is key in that partnership. It's key to the maintaining of the balance of that partnership. So I have Chantal here. She is a romance card. But for me, in this position, this is really asking Spirit asking you, Scorpions, not only to review your love relationships, but I think how you show up in those love relationships. How accepting are you of your own flaws and the flaws of your partner? Because we are all flawed. And love is not about being perfect. Love is about accepting the things that maybe aren't so palatable for us. It's seeing beyond them. It's allowing the beauty of the situation to supersede the irritation or the holes. Because our final card here is Grace and Antoinette. And that's a card of compassion and of seeing something from another person's perspective. And I think that's really important right now for everyone, frankly, but particularly I think for you Scorpions, it's about not just about your partners, but about how you want to show up as a partner and having compassion for yourself as you walk through your own dynamic. So if you've been feeling stingy or cranky or been maybe not so patient with yourself or your partner, rather than being judgy, actually giving yourself a little bit of a break and saying, you know what, I'll do better now. I'll do better next time. I'll show up for me, and I'll have compassion for me, and in doing so have compassion for my intimate relationships as well. All right, Scorpio, that's it for today. I'm going to go on to Sagittarius. Let's see what Spirit has to say for you Sagittarians. Oh, there's Fiona and Celeste and Shanti and Archangel Michael. So here we have Fiona. Fiona says, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving. Celeste is here in your opportunity, your obstacle, offering you a new place of employment or a new home. But again, this is oftentimes for me about the home of my mind, because where and how I think doesn't matter where you put my physical body. Shanti is in the angel's advice. Shanti represents a new era of peace coming in, but oftentimes in order for that peace to actually take root, we're going to have to allow for the disruption of whatever was not allowing the peace in. So here's Archangel Michael asking you to be courageous in your viewpoint. You know, you've asked God and the angels for help. You've asked them for guidance, for more peace of mind, for more resources, for more enjoyment of your life experience. So in doing that, in calling forth for that, you're going to have to sort of give birth to the idea of lifting the rug and letting the dust come up. And in doing that, knowing that that's really clearing the air. It feels like Sagittarians might be going through a bit of, I don't want to say trial or tribulation, as much as a willingness to let go of what has been and allow for something new. It's sort of like, how can I phrase this? I want to say it's not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but allowing for it to transform. You can't have the peace you want and have the things you want in your life and then still maintain an old vibration, an old dynamic. You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, is guess what I'm trying to say. So put both feet in, have the courage to do it, have the courage to know that when you stand in that intention of what you want and you're willing to put your mindset in that and what it feels like once that's come across, once that's started to come into motion, then Spirit will start to follow up with that. All right, Sagittarius, I hope that made sense for you. Kind of made sense to me. Let's go on to Capricorn. Capricorn, you guys are enjoying a 2-year cycle of having Saturn in your home planet, which really is kind of a neat thing. A lot of people get scared, but Saturn's happy in Capricorn, and being there, being able to discover more about yourself and what you can create in this world, that's what this next 2.5-year cycle is about. So embrace that. Let's see what God and the angels have to say for you today. All right. Very much about self-care. It's funny how I get these inspired thoughts. So the minute we went into Capricorn, I'm thinking Saturn is in Capricorn and in the house of self and about discovering who and what you are, new versions of yourself. I get Bethany. Bethany is a card of self-care. She'll talk about getting a manicure or a pedicure, but this is a bigger picture of the self-care. You know, Capricorn is a very I love Capricorn. It's a beautiful sign for me because it's dependable. It's kind of practical without so much of the edge sometimes of Virgo, because Virgonians tend to really want to know where they're going, and yet at the same time, Capricorn has this sort of leadership quality. I guess that's what I'm feeling. And right now, I think that what Spirit is saying is that leadership quality is supposed to be directed towards self. Because I think that this is a time for you to fall in love with you. Merlina talks about being confused, getting more research, taking more time to consult with an expert. But when I look at this with Bethany and Chantal here, this is about self-discovery. This is about sort of allowing that earth quality that you have as Capricorns to breathe a little bit. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think that you're supposed to allow for a little frivolity, a little bit of fun in the sense of what you want for yourself. If maybe it is just going out and getting a massage, but I think it's sort of at a deeper level, because I've got Archangel Raphael here, and there's a healing to be had in the sense of reconciling your own needs against the needs of others. You are as important as everybody else is, and your own needs, whether they are practical or not practical, are as important. So let's let them be important. That's what I think Spirit is saying, to put you first. I know that the human experience says don't be selfish, but sometimes when we're selfish, we're actually being selfless, because then we're happier. We can be happier for others, or be encouraging of others and what they want for themselves. All right, that's it for you Capricorns. Let's go on to Aquarius. All right, Aquarius. Let's see what Spirit has to say for you today. Here we go. There's Merlina calling up again. Akasha in our opportunity, our obstacle, Rosetta in the angel's advice, and Omega in the final position. So, all right, Aquarius. Merlina says you're confused because you haven't done enough research or get enough information. Well, good. God bless Aquarians. They love to do research and to get more information. It's interesting to me because this feels a little bit like it's about a spiritual pursuit in finding out more about yourself and how you operate as a spiritual being in a physical world. Because the next card is Akasha, which is the card of spiritual teaching, and then I have Rosetta. And Rosetta is a card of dealing with children, having a divine life's purpose with children. But I don't believe in this position that it's about children outside of yourself. I think it's about discovering a spiritual aspect within yourself that will help you move through this time with more ease, because the final card is Omega, and it's a card of victory. But it's interesting because for me, Merlina, the first position and the fourth position are more in the material world, where the second and third position are more advisory. So if you are confused, if you are unsure right now, allow yourself to take a pause, take a step back, and do a little bit more investigative research. If you don't know how to do research, let's say that you want to create an emotion, an emotional dynamic, you want to bring more love into your life, you want to bring more peace, more acceptance, then the research you're doing is going to Spirit with your desire. And like you would go to the In-N-Out drive-through and put in your double order, just expect it to come through on the other side. And that rhythm, that putting out that directive, and then sort of allowing Spirit to show you how they bring it back in, is going to give you the victory you're looking for. I don't know if I think this is so much in the outside world as it feels like it's an interior job. It's an emotional, spiritual opportunity versus it is an opportunity that's coming outside of yourself. All right, Aquarius, that's it for you today. And we're going to wrap up with Pisces. All right, my little Pisces, my little lucky boys of Pisces. So, love that. Love my boy. All right, here we go. What does Spirit want Pisces to know for this coming week? All right. Wow, Pisces. Really, really fun. First card we got was Opal, which is talking about Your children on heaven and earth are safe and well cared for by God and the angels. In the opportunity or the obstacle, we have Serena, which is the card of money, card of abundance, saying how will that money come? God's in charge of that. We have Caressa, who says you're at the end of a life cycle, that new happiness awaits you. And then we have Shanti, who is the angel of peace. It's very interesting to me because I actually don't think Serena is talking about money in that opportunity or obstacle. I think that Pisces, that Spirit is really asking you to adopt a childlike innocence and a childlike joy and excitement and enthusiasm for the life experience. To know that if you have been going through any sort of swimming through some rough waters, that you are being cared for by God and the angels, and it's time for you to treat yourself in some ways as a small child and to allow for the innocence of knowing that things get better. You know, when we're little, we believe in superheroes, fairies, we believe in magical forces that that take care of us. I can't help but think of Mary Poppins and the scene with Uncle Arthur when everybody was laughing and floating up to the ceiling as they were saying, "I love to laugh." I really think for you, Pisces, that maybe this is a time for you to love to laugh and to allow yourselves to know that whatever you're going through is temporary and is going to lead you to a place of more peace, more joy, more self-acceptance, and knowing that you are cared for by God and the angels in a way that makes you feel secure. All right, let me just get this over here. Okay, guys, so that's it for today. I was just inspired to do this session for y'all. I'm just gonna, I went on sleep mode, so bear with me, kids. Can't see what I'm doing. All right, here we go. So I just was really inspired this morning to do this angel reading. I may do another one next week. I will do my Monday meditation card for y'all, but I thought this would be fun. So guys, again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, and you can learn more about me, my services, or to book a session at my website at www.terihunter.com. That's TERIHUNTER.com. Have a great week, everybody. Be gentle with yourself. Feel the love. The angels and God want you to know they're watching over you. See you soon. Bye-bye.